Hello and welcome to MotoGP 22. It's finally released, we can finally play it, and I am super excited. So today I'll probably just do a little bit of time trial, maybe one race, just to give my first initial impressions of the game, because I've not played the game at all yet. Obviously I had that video where I was analysing the gameplay, but that was footage sent to me, so a lot of people seem to think that I was playing it or I'd got the game early, but no, that's not the case. I'd just been sent some footage by a friend. So these are going to be my first real impressions of the game. So quick modes, let's go into time trial. So it puts me as Quattararo first at Algarve, obviously, which is Portimao, the race coming up this weekend, so pretty apt from milestone there. So we've got the different categories. Obviously going to stick with GP to start with. If you're wondering why I've got the pictures in the menu, that's because, yes, I already have a mod on. That's literally the first thing I did before I even started up the game. But I think I'm going to go as one of the Repsol Hondas. I think I'll just go as Marc Marquez, just to keep it nice and simple, because I really got on with the Honda in the last game, and I just want to have as many variables removed as possible. I'm also going to go with Malaysia, because that is probably my best circuit, because I want to be used to the physics of the game, not trying to adapt to a different bike, different track, or anything like that. I will probably go on to play some of the new tracks in some other videos, but for now, we'll just stick to this one, then we'll probably do a race at Jerez or something. I think that's what I did last year, so I'll do something similar. So I'll see you down on the track. I'm looking forward to heading out. So here we are then, down in the pit garage, and you can see, obviously, they've completely redone the boxes for this year, and I've got to say, first impression of that, they look absolutely amazing. That's much better than what we've had in the last few games. Well, we've had the same since MotoGP 18, so it's really nice to see they've changed that, and it much more matches real life, how they actually are, so that's really good to see. And it's good to see as well that they actually seem to have fixed the HRC, that they seem to have fixed the t-shirt for the main engineer, so it's not actually the Tech 3 t-shirt anymore. So far, that's a good impression. So we'll go out onto the track. Medium might be a little bit of a dodgy combination to go out with at Sepang, but yeah, it doesn't really matter too much. Obviously, I'm trying to get used to the game, and I'm probably not going to be pushing the tyres too much. Of course, we've got the ride height device as well, which is something I'd like to see how that works as we go into the first corner. Bike feels quite different immediately, a lot more vibration it seems than in the previous game, so that's a plus from me immediately, because I always complain there's never enough feedback. It seems like there probably is a bit more this year. Feels like it's coming from the front tyre, that's for sure. Bit more understeer, feels like so far. The braking is what I've been told is massively different, but it just feels like, yeah, it just feels like there's a chronic understeer. I think Dylan told me before when he played the game that he felt a massive dead zone, and I can see immediately what he means by that. It just seems like the bike is very slow to do anything that you input, which kind of does suggest that there's a massive dead zone, so it just takes a while to actually start to receive input from you. And I've got a bit wide into there, and first crash on the game already. It wouldn't be me if I didn't crash on the first lap. I was going to say, where am I? Okay, I was literally that close to the bike, you immediately picked it up. Fair enough, Mark. I suppose, again, it is pretty realistic that we crash as Mark, I suppose. So I'll just do a couple of laps, and I'll probably start having a bit of a play with the ride height device, because, of course, again, that is something that's completely different. Braking performance doesn't feel too bad so far. I mean, I'm not really up to full speed, so I can't really judge that just yet, but the actual performance of the brakes feels very similar, and I'm not doing too well there, am I? But that was a bit of an odd crash. I think you would have got away with that on GP21, I think, on the curb there. I mean, curbs are usually to be avoided in milestone games, as we know, but on that curb, I feel like I've not crashed on that, but then perhaps I wouldn't touch that normally. So apologies to that, guys. That's 2 crashes on the first lap. But like I said, I've not played the game at all yet. It's literally my first impressions, no assists or anything like that, so I've just got to try and get up to speed as quick as possible, but generally, I've made a lot more mistakes at this point in the previous years. It does feel very... It feels familiar. It doesn't feel completely alien like they tend to. They completely overhaul the physics most years, whereas this year it doesn't feel too alien. It just feels like I can feel obvious differences, but it does still feel like the same underlying physics engine underneath. It doesn't feel completely different. Let's see if we can do a first flying lap without crashing. And I'll probably shut up in a minute as well and let you just experience the engine sounds for a few corners. But I'll probably speak over this lap, probably do it on the next lap. So far, not too bad. I thought it was going to lose the front on that curb because I touched it a little bit. I could do with probably changing the traction control setting just to let me spin the rear a little bit more. Just turned it on to 4. So far, I mean, it doesn't feel too bad. I've got to say, I mean, again, I'm not pushing the absolute limit, so it's not going to be quite, my 100% feedback. But again, it doesn't feel super alien. So if you've played GP21, it'll feel somewhat familiar, but it does feel like the bike is heavier, that's for sure. Which is something that GP21 already did a lot. Oh, come on! I thought I'd saved it by going over the curb, and then when I come back across, I can't tell you how many times I've crossed on that curb over the years. But as I was saying, yes, it doesn't feel super unfamiliar if you play GP21. The bike just feels a bit heavier. Brakes feel a little bit more... I don't really know how to say it. You kind of feel them more. It feels like there's more friction from the brake. I don't know whether the brake performance particularly is much different, but it feels like the brake... You kind of feel it, the bike definitely reacts a lot more when you put it on, whereas in previous games, you just obviously start to slow down, and if you put too much brake on, the rear wheels start to come up. But even on the very minor braking, you can feel that the brake is on, definitely. I think it's... I think that's a good feature, though. I think that's how a real bike does behave a bit more. You definitely feel it as soon as you touch the brake. Straight away through the controls, through the handlebars, you'll feel it immediately, so that's what we're getting through the controls here. And again, like I said, it does feel like there's a little bit more vibration, which is always welcoming for me. I'd like to know when I'm about to lose the front. First lap on the board then, 2 minute 25. Well, I think we can find a bit of time there, don't you think? Down to the first corner. Alright, I actually thought I was doing that okay, to be honest. The speed definitely felt like I was going to probably pull it down, and I guess maybe that was just me expecting a bit too much. So perhaps the rear brake is a little less strong. Actually, my rear brake is cold if you look at it, so that might be part of the problem. Because the rear brake never really got too hot or cold in the last game, it was more the front brake. But it seems like here the rear brake is cold currently, so that's probably why I didn't quite get the performance out of it that I expected into the first corner. I think the trail braking is less powerful as well. I think that's probably the main difference with the braking so far. But straight line braking feels fairly similar, but just with a bit more of an effect. But as you can see, I've just run wide again. I think once you start to get lean angle on, you used to be able to brake a lot, and you did a lot of your slowing down on the lean angle. It seems like you probably can't do that so much anymore. It doesn't feel like it's very powerful on the trail braking. So the 204 on that lap, again, was invalid, but much improved. So this lap, I'm going to try not to run wide into the first corner, and so far, that's already a better lap. So at the last corner then, coming up towards the line, use a little bit of ride height device, just see if that, oh, that does make you feel, that does feel a bit quicker. There we go, 1 minute 58.2. So I'll leave that for now. Obviously, you could improve that a lot, but sub 2 minutes, first day on Malaysia. To be honest, I'll take it. That's usually a pretty good starting day if you can do a sub 2 minutes. So, yeah, I might have a little bit of a play with the ride height device now, and then hopefully if the video's not too long, then I'll jump into a race, because I don't want this video to go on forever. So I'll go back to the sort of start-finish straight, and we'll have a bit of a play with the ride height device. So when I just used it then, it definitely felt like the bike was going quicker. But that might just be a visual effect being done on the screen to make the bike feel quicker. I've just noticed that the scratches on the wings and stuff look a bit more realistic. So obviously I've been down a few times. It actually looks like the bike's crashed. You can see all the scratches on the bike. So that's something that I haven't seen mentioned at all in any of the betas, anything like that. I think that's something worth mentioning. I mean, obviously the visual stuff does matter, even though people obviously don't care about it as much as the physics. The visual stuff does matter, so it's always nice to see. I'll just go to the edge of the track here, and we'll activate the ride height device whilst we're standing still and see what happens. So it does lower the rear immediately. So I think what I'm going to do, probably go from this white line, and we'll see what speed we get to at the end of the straight with the ride height device, and then we'll come back, do the same test once again without the ride height device, and see what the difference in straight line speed is. So 355, I think, was the top speed then that we just hit. So we'll go back to the end of the straight again. We'll give it another go because the damage should be off, so the straight line speed shouldn't have been affected by that big crash at the end of the straight there. So I'm back at virtually the same spot. I don't know whether I'm slightly maybe further around the corner, but it should be good enough to do the test either way just to see. So back into neutral, full throttle, up to first gear. No input from the analog stick, so we've already had a wheelie, a little bit of a wheelie there, so we went up into second gear. But so far now, seems to be about the same. I'm going more towards the pit wall, it seems. So we'll see. So we just hit 357 there. So, in conclusion, the ride height device doesn't really make any difference to the straight line speed by the looks of it. So that's interesting, because I felt like when I put the ride height device on that 58.2 I did, coming out the last corner, I just pressed it. I felt like I immediately was going faster, but I think that's just maybe a visual thing. So that's worth noting. So that's something we found already then. The ride height device doesn't particularly make much difference on straight line speed. Now, whether you're using different electronic settings, to me, that might make a difference. If you're using zero anti-wheelie, it might make quite a big difference. But it didn't really seem to affect anything at all there. So I think with that sort of test done, I think that might be where I'll leave this video for now. I was going to do another race, but I've seen I've been recording for about 20 minutes, so I think this good length video really for a first impression. So I hope you guys did enjoy that one. I will be back later today with a career mode episode and maybe another video as well. I'm going to be trying to upload at least one video every day for at least the next week or so, so do stick around for that. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. I don't usually ask for this, but we're so close to 5k subscribers now, really, really close, so if you could try and get us to that milestone, I really, really appreciate it. And it does help me out. And of course, you guys will get to see this content as soon as it's uploaded. So it's a win-win for both of us. But like I said, I hope you did enjoy that one. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe. And I shall see you in the next one.